Hi, today's date is July 22nd, 2021. For today's video source inspection, we have a fully refurbished 270S model SRD. Due to confidentiality reasons, I will not share my customer's identity with you, but they are located in Texas, and so they can identify this tool. Their PO number is 451-439-8675. So we have a 270S refurbishment with an SMC solenoid valve conversion. Before we get started, the goal for today's video is to show that this tool is functional. We're going to run a complete recipe, and I'm going to discuss our refurbishment process, spare parts and service support, as well as list off some equipment we provide at Sitek. So before we get started, we want to make sure that we have N2 purging into the bowl. And we're running a full cassette today. Okay, we're ready to begin, so let's get started. Okay, we have about a minute-long rinse. Every SRD that comes to Sitek for refurbishment goes through the same extensive refurbishment process. First, we take the tool and break it down to the component level. From there, we chemically clean and electropolish all metal parts, as well as individually inspect all spare parts for function. Once all parts are prepped, that is when we begin to build up the bare SRD head assemblies from the ground up. If you look at our YouTube channel, you'll see bare head assemblies, double stacks, single stacks on a cart. The customer just pulls the head out of their double stack. So they'll be installing this into a double stack when it gets back to them. They just don't ship us the entire stack. About 15 seconds left. We will be speeding up. When we get to our purge and the water, instead of water falling down, we'll start swirling in a circular motion. And as the recipe progresses, there will be less and less droplets of water on the window as we move on. So we're in the purge. We are speeding up. SRD is still running nice and smooth, and the water is going around in a circle. And it'll just slowly but surely dissipate. Once we build up the bare SRD head assembly, it goes to our first QC checkpoint, our dry test. This is where we test and inspect the SRD for full function without installing the facilities yet. Step 2 is our wet QC checkpoint, wet test. This is where we inspect and test the SRD for full function with facilities installed. And lastly is the configuration you see before you today, right in this room, final test. In addition to filming a video source inspection to share with customers, the customers can request that we hold shipment until they see it run, and with COVID-19, it's a luxury that they're happy to have. I don't wear a mask, but we wear masks. I don't wear a mask in the video, so you can hear me better. But everybody at Sitek is masked up, and we take COVID-19 very seriously with our social distancing. So in addition to the video source inspection, we run over 50 various recipes with different RPM speeds and times. We call this burn-in testing. So we do all this to make sure that the SRD is ready for anything that our customers throw at them in the fab. So 10 seconds left in our dry 1. We're going to slow it down in our RPMs for dry 2. We spin fast at dry 1 to sling as much excess water off the cassette and wafers as possible while heating up. And then our dry 2, we really let the heaters do the work. Okay, and this will be about 3.5 minutes for dry 2. We're slowing down. And you see the water droplets are just kind of leaving the window. Let's talk about spare parts and service. Sitek is a worldwide leader in SRD spare parts and service. Not just limited to semi-tool. We're the OEM for Vertec SRDs as we purchased this product line from Martec a few years back. So semi-tool and Vertec spare parts and service. When it comes to the semi-tool, we can provide 100% of the spare parts and repair services necessary to upkeep your SRD. Let's talk about what we can repair, the larger components. We rebalance rotors, repair motors, and that includes brush type as well as brushless. Controllers including 228s, 328s, PSC 101s and 102s, as well as amps, the LC4s and LC5s. There's a lot of words for amps. You may know it as a motor controller, automotion controller. We have you covered. All of the parts that I just listed off, we can provide in new or refurbished condition. If you have any questions, give us a phone call at 916-797-9000. You can also visit our website, www.sitekprocess.com, to see our entire parts and equipment catalog, as well as submit a formal RFQ. If you'd rather just send us an email with your RFQ, our email address is sales@sitekprocess.com. Okay, 2.5 minutes to go. Let's list off some parts that we can provide. Start switches, stop switches, door seals, windows, solenoid valves, ACR valves, pressure switches, N2 filters, anti-static modules, heater blankets, heater cartridges, tax sensors, the rotor stop positioner, which we call RSP for short. The RSP will come back into play at the end of the recipe. 100% of the spare parts you need, grommets, anything. We are the worldwide leader in semi-tool SRD spare parts and service. Okay, just under 1.5 minutes to go. The Humphrey solenoid valves have been discontinued by the manufacturer. We're still able to provide these as we have inventory, but a lot of customers like to get ahead of the curve for years down the road. So they had us replace the Humphrey solenoid bank with SMC solenoids. So if you're interested in a valve upgrade, we can give you more details on what it takes to upgrade your solenoids. So I've gone over our refurbishment process as well as our spare parts and service support. We have just over 1 minute to go. Let's talk about equipment you might not have known that Sitek can provide. In addition to semi-tool and Vertec SRDs, we can provide, but are not limited to, box washers such as the HTC 8010, 8020, and 8030, mask cleaners including K&S and Ultra T models, metrology tools including profilometers, ellipsometers, resistivity, and more, barrel ashers and etchers, YES ovens, a variety of microscopes, and at this time we also have some spray solvent tools in stock too. And when it comes to equipment, we provide a multitude of Cybor and millipore pumps. These we can also service if you need to have repairs done. So 25 seconds left. SRD is nice and smooth. You can't even see a drop of water on the window right now. So we don't want to open our door too early. So if you see 0 on the time, it's still too early. Once it hits 0, the rotor will spin down and slow. And once it hits 75 RPMs, that's when the RSP I mentioned earlier will fire it into the 12 o'clock position. After that, we need to wait for the door seal to release all air. Only then is it safe to open the door. If you open it too early, you cause damage you don't want to have. So spinning down, we are just about at 75 RPM. The RSP will fire now. Still don't want to open it. There's the door seal. So let's see how we did. We have warm N2 purging into the bowl. Residual droplets of water in the bowl. This is good. You don't want your bowl to be bone dry. Cassette is warm to the touch. And all wafers are completely dry. This was a successful process run. Our customer in Texas is going to be very happy to get this back in the fab. We thank you for watching our video. We'll see you next time.